So let's begin. Um, Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm so happy you're joining us. This is a special event for us tonight for New Year's.
Yay. Yeah, thanks, Alexia. Alexia, of course, her whole life has been dedicated to helping people, and she's the impresaria for, doing all this. I don't even know how to, I'm not good with computers. And hey, Andrew from Ukraine, faculty at CU Physics, very smart person, and one of the most popular people around the world, One World Running, Mike Sandrock, and
Miro also.
Yeah, and Miro, our friend from the Balkans, is Miro. Happy New Year. And to everyone else who I can't see, I just see some numbers and faces popping up. But let's be positive for the new year, okay? And my job at the age of 79 is to put things in historical perspective. And just like everyone's favorite person, we know who that is. Happy New Year, Alexia. Okay, everyone loves Alexia. Just like she said, let's start with when I was on the case of the baby in the bubble, which they made into a movie. And time-wise, there was a little child, baby basically, who played the part. In the movie, in the Hollywood movie, his name was John Travolta. So let's just start there. This baby was born without any zero immune system whatsoever. And as I told Mike many times, there's two big parts of the immune system, T cells and B cells. T stands for thymus, B stands for bone marrow. And this baby didn't have any immune system whatsoever. They called me on the case because at the time I was doing bone marrow transplantation stem cells. And short version, okay, is that the bone marrow stem cells can rejuvenate an immune system because the stem cells will make B cells, which will make serum antibodies, and the stem cells will also make the thymus, the T cells. So I was on that case. So here's a baby that what we had to do was create a sterile plastic bubble at Texas Children's Hospital. And why a sterile plastic bubble? Because this child, David, had no immunity against bacteria, viruses, fungi. So we all live in a sea of microbes, okay? But our immune system protects us, against that. So the message there, the takeaway is that we have to totally value our precious immune system. And that's what Alexia, she gave me a list on how to bolster our immune system for the new year, see. And the catch is, since we can't see these things, that's the illusion, the Hindu word Maya. We can't see it, but they're all around us. Not only all around us, but we have 3 pounds of those bacteria living inside of us, which, guess what, is a newly discovered organ in medicine called the microbiome. So let's just start right there with the microbiome. Is when you feed these bacteria 50 trillion cells, been with us for 2 million years. It's kind of like having 50 trillion employees at your disposal, and they want to work for you because it's a win-win situation. if they keep you nice and healthy, then they're going to have a home, and, vice versa. So they're all for you. So like Alexia tells many people is, she has her 23 ingredients around the world, see, how do you treat the
You keep muting yourself. No, you are mute now. Now you are mute.
Thank you. I actually thought that we were hearing background noise. So let's continue. Sorry.
Right. So for those who just missed the last segment, it's a very sublime concept, one of the most sublime concepts in all of medicine. See, a mega message, which I mentioned to Alexia many times, these things are so incredibly simple, and they're all based on how Mother Nature designed our bodies and all that. See, that's the beauty. Like our scholar, Andrew from Ukraine, he sees this perfectly, is the whole thing is based on evolution itself. That's the beauty of it. And these things are so simple to understand for everyone. So if whoever got lost for a second, we're talking about a newly discovered organ in medicine called the microbiome. Okay. And when I was on the faculty at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas, 1970, the state of the art there it was known that there was 3 pounds of bacteria living in the colon. That was it. That was the total extent of the knowledge. Today, it's the hottest topic in medicine across the board. Guess what? A whole new field of psychiatry opened up. You know how conservative the psychiatrists are, but they opened up a whole new field of medicine, and the name tells the story, psychobiome. And what it is the two-way traffic between your brain, psycho, and microbiome, psychobiome. And like whenever Alexia tells people to feed the microbiome, number one, it builds up the immune system big time, and I'll discuss that. But number two, what it does, it cranks out all these great chemicals for you called neurotransmitters. GABA to help you get a good night's sleep and relieve anxiety. Serotonin, whose eponym is called the bliss chemical, okay, and dopamine, and all these neurotransmitters, okay. But let's converge now on the immune system. So here we all know about the last 2 years, the importance of the immune system, fighting viruses and bacteria. So let's be real pragmatic. Alexia tells someone to have plenty of soluble fiber in their diet. There's 2 types of fiber. Insoluble, doesn't dissolve in water. That's like a scouring brush, spring cleaning, but the spring cleaning is your whole digestive system, so nothing sticks there, and then you get good absorption. And the small intestine alone, okay, is, when stretched out, the surface area of the CU football field. So a lot of stuff can get caught there, and the insoluble fiber scrapes it out. But what we're talking about today is the soluble fiber, okay? And that's what Alexia mentions to people, because the soluble fiber, okay, in addition to all those great neurochemicals for the body and the brain, okay, the soluble fiber will crank out short chain fatty acids. And the rock star of the short chain fatty acids is butyric acid, 4 carbons. That's how butter was named. Butter, B-U-T, butyric acid. I see Andrew is kind of, man, he's got a mind. Like when Andrew says yes, then we know everything's okay in the world. Okay. So is butyric acid can prevent and heal leaky gut. Butyric acid prevents and heals leaky brain. What does that mean in everyday language? What it means in everyday language is when food and bacteria are inside your gut, your intestine, both small and large, they can enter through that portal. You see, if there's what's called leaky gut. And most people my age have leaky gut. Alexia and I do not have leaky gut, okay? So bacteria can come in that way, sort of through the inside, if you will.
And the leaky brain?
Yeah, and the brain too, see, is bacteria. The brain is protected because it's so precious. So the brain has a barrier called the blood-brain barrier. But the brain barrier can be breached and the intestinal barrier can be breached. And guess what prevents and of course heals, both sides of the coin, butyric acid. And that is produced big time by the soluble fiber, which is the best food for the microbiome.
Can you tell them some examples like spinach?
Yeah.
I say kale, spinach, kale, garlic, onions, anything that's soft and soluble, apples, blueberries, ginger, a lot of things that are used in foods around the world.
That's right. Alexia knows this probably better than me because she's involved in many projects of feeding homeless people, good nutrition. So she knows that the examples which she gave of the soluble fiber. Easy rule of thumb, the insoluble fiber is really the hard stuff, see,
It's
like
crunchy,
the crunchy,
yeah.
Celery, carrots, broccoli, things like that.
Yeah.
So you need both, but the soluble fiber is the one for the microbiome.
And if I can just interject one note with the crunchy insoluble fiber, I have the title of an article called Eat Your Exercise, because when you eat the crunchy insoluble fiber and you think of the celery and the crunch that it makes, or broccoli and so on, what happens is your gut, that 20 feet of upper intestine, is a muscle. It's just like your heart. Your heart is a muscle and it needs to be exercised by aerobic exercise. That 20 feet is a muscle. And the only thing that is really going to exercise it is something that resists being broken down. And so having a broccoli or cauliflower, and these are like raw or lightly cooked so that they're not too soft, a crunchy carrot, celery chopped up and added, those things make your gut exercise, and that cleans them out at the same time. And as he mentioned, when you spread it out, it's like a CU football field or any football field that you've ever played on or have watched games at.
That is correct. When I was in medical school, fiber was totally unknown. And why? No calories, no protein, no carbohydrate, no fat, no vitamins, no minerals. But by its very nature, as Alexia mentioned, the fiber itself is so important. Those two types, the insoluble to clean you out on the inside, and the soluble fiber to feed the newly discovered organ in medicine, the microbiome.
Can you add a little point about intermittent fasting as well? Because you get that. Maybe you can join in later on that.
Yeah. Well, let me just finish this first over here. So the big thing, because I know there's a lot of information, so let's condense it. The big thing, the big takeaway is this. The big takeaway is that many adults and close to 100% of seniors have leaky gut. And that's a newly discovered entity. And that means that bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa can enter your body from the inside with the food, so to speak, leaky gut. And that magic chemical called butyric acid can heal leaky gut and, of course, prevent leaky gut. In addition, you get a New Year's bonus from butyric acid. For Mike, who's known all around the world in running circles, you get an extra 10% fuel from butyric acid from your microbiome for endurance running, like marathons, ultra marathons. This could revolutionize the whole, long distance running ball game. Number two, with butyric acid, is New England Journal of Medicine. It is the number one fuel for the cells that line the colon. Wow. Number three, it is in the medical journals, it is your very best protection. I'm going to repeat that. Your best protection against cancer of the colon in the medical journals. In addition to acting as extra fuel for the brain. And of course, we mentioned the epicenter of that new field in psychiatry is in Cork, Ireland. A bunch of psychiatrists got together there. And see, the catch is what we're really talking about, okay, is the chemicals that are produced from the microbiome. Every single one of them has a role to play against depression, anxiety, even schizophrenia, and stress in the brain. So again, you have a 50 trillion employees at your disposal. And guess what? It's free of charge. Okay. So that is a one way to really help out for the new year. The second is this is big time. And that is this is actually my favorite, okay? And it harkens back, deja vu, in the days when I used to teach medical students, is that the largest organ of the body is the skin, weighs 6 pounds. And it lines, of course, the surface on the outside. Simple, elegant concept. Take a look over here. You could see me. So here we go. Okay. Skin, skin, skin. Who's everyone's favorite person? There she is. Yeah, right. Okay. So here's the skin. Okay. And take a look. See, the COVID is a respiratory virus. Okay. We all know that. So So here's the skin. And when the skin turns inward, like skin, follow it through the nose, follow it through the sinusoids, follow it through the back there called the pharynx. And then there's 2 tubes. The one up front is the air tube. The one at back is the food tube, the esophagus. The one up front is the trachea. And then the trachea goes to the major bronchi, and then the small one, bronchioles, and then the air sacs. So what I'm getting at is this, real simple. The skin, if you follow it linearly, will go down contiguous, will be the lining of your lungs itself. So short version is a healthy skin, healthy lining of the lungs. The language in medicine is called epithelial tissue. That's lining tissue. So bottom line, if you take good care of your skin, it's contiguous with the lining of your respiratory system. So is every single textbook in immunology, the first page, your number one defense in immunology against bacteria and viruses is a mechanical barrier We haven't even gotten to antibodies or macrophages or T cells or helper T cells. No, no, no. Number one is a mechanical barrier, and that's your skin. So it's good for the outside, it's good for the inside. How many people know that? Okay, Dr. Fauci, tell some of your people that. I mean, right off the bat, another freebie, free of charge.
So how do you
So-
oil the inside?
Wow.
I
I
love
thought
this.
Alexia went away. Usually, Alexia's New Year's, she likes a little schnapps, or
Not true.
a little Ukrainian wine, or a little Slivovitz from the Balkans, like Miro used to drink as a kid, Oh, how do we do that? Okay. So it's a very simple, elegant concept. To me, big time. I've never even heard it before. But when COVID broke out, I started to kind of think, oh, wait a second. From simple, basic medical school 101, you're taught the lining of the different systems of the body. So here's the skin. Let me do it kind of simple, simple version without getting technical. Basically, is a oily skin is a good skin. A dried out cracked skin is a bad skin. Analogy, anyone who has mechanical, bicycles, motorcycles, number one, it's a no-brainer. You gotta oil it, okay? And just, for obvious intuitive reasons. Well, the same thing with the skin. The skin is the barrier to the outside. Sunlight, UV rays, all sorts of things. Even when you take a shower, there's attrition on the skin, all that.
Dr. Joe, excuse me, we have to interrupt because Bogdan is here. We have to run our procedure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, very good.
Have him say hi in the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is,
Hi,
Bogdan. Happy New Year,
Happy New
Bogdan.
Year.
We'll
Happy
finish.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely approaching New Year. Yeah.
Right.
I'm getting my hair done right now, so I look kind of silly.
Oh, very good. And I notice Hannah, our
Yes.
friend Hannah, she has beautiful skin. So
Oh,
for
thank
those
you.
So for those of you who just tuned in, the concept is so simple. Is basically that number one in immunology is a mechanical barrier, and that's the skin. A lot of people don't think of that. They just get hung up. Oh, I got my third antibody. Wonderful. But the skin is number one. And the skin, the more you keep it nice and oil so it doesn't crack, and I'm talking about micro cracks, see, they act as a portal of entry of, again, bacteria, viruses, things like that. So if you keep it nice and lubricated. So now the only question is, how do you lubricate the skin? Okay.
Inside.
And basically is the good oils, quote, and the superstar of the good oils, a lot of you have heard this before, is the omega-3. And the omega-3 is so powerful that it's actually recognized as a vitamin now. So the omega-3 basically good on the inside and it will spill over to the outside. And the omega-3 is also anti-inflammatory, okay, which helps out quite a bit.
It's called vitamin F.
It's called vitamin F.
Yes.
And a lot of the good oils, okay, let's say it like this, is the really good oils to have in your diet, which will spill out from the inside to the outside to give you a good, healthy skin, is the mono unsaturated oils, like olive oil, like
Canola too.
canola oil, like walnut oil, like avocado oil, the whole avocado.
Bogdan wants to illustrate it, I guess.
He's got,
Fresh Greek olives.
that's it.
It's a lot of
That's it.
omega-3.
That's it. That's it. That's one of the greatest ways of having a healthy skin. You know, see, even what you could do is put the olive oil externally on the outside. A lot of people in the Mediterranean, do that, see, for a healthy, skin and so forth. So not only does the skin turn inward, invaginate to form the respiratory lining, but it also will form the lining of the digestive system. So it goes all the way down the pike there and gives you a real healthy skin on the inside. So whenever there's an opening in the body, respiratory, digestive, urinary, then the skin just invaginates. So that's a real big one. I'm going to let Alexia chat for a second
Okay,
there.
what I'm going to actually ask is if anybody who's listening has their system on, would you please mute it in case so we can avoid the background noises? Thank you. So you can view, and we have 10 more minutes, it says on our system here. So Joel, why don't you go ahead and finish the rest of these? And we are recording this, so people who came in late, we will send you a link. We have your email address, and you can also send it to alexiaparks@gmail.com. And we'll make sure we send you a link to the one so you can watch it again and share it with other people in your network.
Great. Now let's finish up with this over here. See, I think everyone heard of T cells. T cells refer to the thymus. And when I was in medical school in 1966, guess what? The function of the thymus was not known at the time. I go down to Texas there, Baylor College of Medicine, and I was in the lab that worked out the role of the thymus. So the role of the thymus it's the master computer of the cellular immune system. And it's your best protection against many types of viruses and cancer itself. So you want to keep the T cells nice and intact. Guess what knocks it out? Long-term stress. The hormone is cortisone. So in other words, reduce stress. Your choice: massage, yoga, stretching. I know Mike Sandrock does a lot of running. Anything that you do to reduce stress will keep breathing. That's right. Will keep your immune system nice and high, especially the T cells. For the B cells, they produce the antibodies. So the antibodies are 100% protein. So common sense says this: what you want is the best protein in your diet.
Right.
And protein, the word itself means of first importance. So you don't want to economize on, protein. You want the best protein in the world. And guess what is given the gold standard? The 100% best protein in the world is albumin, which is the egg white. And
but you do want to eat the whole egg.
Right. You want to have the whole egg because basically this is the beginning of life for the baby chicken. But the albumin is given the gold standard. So all of the proteins are compared to the egg white. But what I'm getting at, it stands to reason. See, when you put in the very best protein, antibodies of all types, Okay, they're called serum antibodies or plasma antibodies. That's the liquid part of the blood. And they're like little protein cruise missiles against the coronavirus. So since they're 100% protein, you want to put in the best protein and not, economize there. So let me just, for anyone who tuned in a little late, is big picture. Alexia mentioned that years ago I was on the baby in the bubble, and that was the child that was born without any immune system. Had to live his whole life, 15 years, in a plastic sterile bubble. We live in the world, and since we cannot see them, we don't realize that they're there, but we live in a sea of viruses and bacteria, fungi, etc. And it's our precious immune system not to be taken for granted. See, that's the key, okay? And then Alexia made a list of how to build up for the new year the immune system. And we said the real big ones are to prevent leaky gut, so the viruses and bacteria don't sneak in from the inside like a Trojan horse, okay? Then we mentioned number 2, and this is a big one, is that to keep the epithelial lining of the outside and the inside respiratory system totally intact. And the best way to do that is to lubricate it, and to have the good oils, omega-3, and then Bogdan showed the olive oil, things like that. It's a mechanical protection. And then last, we mentioned the importance of high quality protein, okay? And not only will protein make all of your skin, and then all the lining of the digestive system. And the lining of the digestive system, I forgot the exact number, but it's something like in 48 hours, the entire lining of the digestive system is turned over, meaning making new cells, meaning new protein synthesis. So again, there's so many natural ways to build up your immune system.
So I'm just going to wrap up very briefly with the rest that we didn't. We wanted to touch upon briefly, and he did mention about stress and reducing stress every possible way. And it's a really good reminder to remember that within 48 hours, that leaky gut can be healed by increasing your soluble fiber dramatically in your diet. And keeping the good fats high. We can talk later about vitamin B12. As you age, as people become our age or seniors, they lose that little shuttle bus that converts vitamin B12 in food. And so they have to take it sublingually under the tongue. We also say stay hydrated. A lot of times when you see wrinkled skin of people, it's because they have become dehydrated. And again, with seniors at our age and people younger, maybe 60, what happens is that thirst reflex turns off. And so a lot of times people do not understand that they're thirsty, and Joel's taking a drink right now talking about it. So sometimes just role modeling that is a good idea, or putting water out where you can always see it and drink it. And then the other 2 things are whenever you're meeting, we meet at the Trident Cafe every evening. Joel's there to answer people's questions in person. About 7 days, it is 7 days a week, but it's always a well-ventilated large room. So there's lots of air around. And when we do wash our hands, we tend to go to soap, which creates bubbles, and soap on your hands, which can be washed, the bacteria and viruses can be washed down the drain with soap, which is a better improvement over hand wipes and spraying it with other things, that bubbly, soapy water. Washing it, I've had some people sing happy birthday, and while they're doing it, which is about 10 or 20 seconds to make sure it's thoroughly cleaned. But I think that wraps it up for tonight. And we're going to let you head on to your rest of your evening, and Happy New Year's.
Yeah. And the names that I see, of course, Happy New Year to our friends from Ukraine, Andrew and Bogdan. Okay. They're both in physics at CU. And Mike Sandrock, of course, You know,
We've got-
everyone knows Mike and Miro.
Bodan, yes.
And Bogdan, yeah, Bogdan, and the name of the club that we have at the Trident.
And
it's
there's
a-
Don Hayes in there.
oh man, there's Don. Happy New Year, Don.
And we've had a few other people that it's new to us.
Yeah.
And we hope you'll introduce yourself. It won't show.
Oh, won't you?
No.
It's called Bogdan's International Club. We have about 12 countries, okay, represented.
So you're welcome to show up at any time.
Right. And it's always educational. And if it's not educational, then Andrew just walks away.
So if you want to get a recording, just shoot me an email or a text, alexiaparks@gmail.com. Thanks so much. And we'll link
Yeah.
you to other videos as we proceed on this
Right.
open forum.
Happy New Year, everyone, from me and Alexia.